received a message yesterday through Instagram that begins to paint a much clearer picture of the direction that we're heading, specifically, particularly with Walmart leading the charge. And you got to think, with a corporation the size of Walmart, the power that they have, as well as how other companies are looking up to them, admiring them for their success and their revenues, they're only going to set the example for others to follow suit. But we got some even more important news to discuss, because this change, what is actually happening, is also driving another trend.
A good one or a bad one?
Business Insider releases, as of March 1, 2023, the latest full list of major U.S. companies making cuts in 2023.
I would assume every single one of them are on this list.
What's happening, what's going on, what they are preparing for, this massive wipeout, this economic shift, this shutdown before the Great Reset, is going to literally shut down and wipe out workers, income, jobs, on top of inflation having done most of that heavy lifting. And now a recession. Oh.
Wait, there's more?
And banking collapse.
Oh, yes, that part. I mean, that might have a lot to do with everything, too.
Banking collapse as of yesterday, Silicon Valley Bank. You know, it's actually funny because I watched a Jeremiah Bay video, and he warned you this was going to happen. Or was that he actually warned that it was happening. All these people preparing to get wiped out. Things are becoming very dangerous. People are getting nervous. Hurry up and get your money out of the banks now. Silicon Valley Bank fails after bank runs on deposits, and the CEO of Silicon Valley Bank Financial sold $3.6 million in stock 2 weeks before the California bank giant's epic crash yesterday on a Friday. FDIC said banks would collapse and crash on a Friday, signaling bank officials might have known the bank was in trouble before it reported a nearly $2 billion loss that led to the biggest bank failure since the Great Recession in 2008, months after Jim Cramer pumped it up.
I hear you say Jim Cramer, and I just picture Kramer on Seinfeld slamming through Jerry's door.
He has that type of energy. Now I'm just waiting for his pathetic fake tears apology on CNBC after he confesses that he let everyone down. Stock market is crazy right now. Stock market is crazy. Meanwhile, this list of layoffs includes many of which a company in the tech industry. So why am I putting my money into a stock, into a bank that is primarily devoted to the tech industry?
Well, because for the last however many years, it's been pushed that tech is the wave of the future, and it is. Technically, tech is the wave of the future, but it doesn't mean that it's a good wave.
Jim Cramer says that they weren't communicating. They didn't communicate well with the impacts of rapidly rising interest rates. These
I feel
interest
like that's
rates,
something that you could see from the outside, though.
these interest rates have been rising for months. They communicated quite clearly 2 months ago when they sold stock, or the CEO decided to withdraw, when he decided to dump. Cramer pumped, Silicon Valley CEO dumped. Business Insider, Twitter, and Disney are the latest to slash thousands of jobs amid a wave of layoffs. Here's the full list of major U.S. companies making cuts in 2023.
Now, here's the thing. Twitter is still owned by Elon Musk, or is he ditched it already?
No, he's the owner.
Okay, well, he said that as soon as he got it, he was going to pretty much let everybody go because he wants it to be something totally different. And then Disney, of course, has to start letting people go now that DeSantis has made a lot of changes to what Disney can and can't do tax-wise, because for decades they've had this kind of cushion, which allowed them to kind of run basically Disney as its own little city with its own little rules and regulations when it came to all kinds of stuff. So now DeSantis came in and kind of messed that all up for Disney. So of course they have to start laying people off because the changes that have made, they're probably going to have less patrons visiting Disney in the future too.
What is the future for DeSantis?
Well, he just announced that he's running for president 2024.
So the question is now, would you rather see DeSantis as president, or would you rather see Gavin Newsom as president? Or would you rather see Mr. Biden as president?
I'd rather see Mr. Beast as president. I
Mr.
feel like
Beast.
he would do good things for the entire country.
Oh, man, that would be funny. Mr. Beast as president.
I think that'd be great, actually.
I don't know if
He's a good guy, and he would try to take care of everybody.
A wave of layoffs that hit dozens of U.S. companies towards the end of 2022 shows no sign of slowing down into 2023. Last week, Twitter cut 200 employees, or about 10% of the social media company's remaining workforce, according to the New York Times. This is the second round of layoffs at Twitter in less than 4 months after Elon Musk slashed its headcount by 50% after buying the company for $44 billion in November, which ultimately put Tesla on a path of destruction. But we'll get into that a little bit later. Meanwhile, Twitter joins a large group of major corporations that have made significant cuts in the new year. Tech companies, including Google and Microsoft, and finance behemoths like Goldman Sachs announced massive layoffs in the first weeks of 2023 amid a continued economic downturn and stagnating sales. I mean, I think people are still spending money.
I know people are still spending money.
Sales, I mean, I think people are still charging credit cards. Sorry.
I know people are still charging credit cards
That's what
too.
I meant to say. The downsizing followed significant reductions at companies including Meta and Salesforce late last year. The layoffs have primarily affected the tech sector, which is now hemorrhaging employees at a faster rate than at any point during the pandemic. And according to the data cited by the Journal from layoffs.fyi, which is a website tracking layoffs since the start of the pandemic, tech companies slashed more than 150,000 in 2022 alone, compared to 80,000 in 2020 and 15,000 in 2021. Sit.
He has to pee a bit. He's going to have to wait.
7:30. The wave of mass layoffs has recently expanded beyond tech and into economic bellwethers as well. Industrial company 3M and material company Dow recently announced cuts as well. And we've got a list of notable examples so far in 2023. Sirius XM cuts 475. The radio company said March 6th that it was cutting 8% of its staff of 475 roles, according to a statement posted on the company's website from CEO Jennifer Witz. In the statement, Witz said nearly every department across the company will be impacted. She also noted that those impacted will be contacted directly and will have the opportunity to speak with a leader from their department as well as a member of the company's People Plus Culture team. Impacted employees will also be provided with exit packages that include severance, transitional health insurance benefits, employee advocacy program continuation, and outplacement services. At least it's not going to be a text message. It seems like it's going to be an actual in-person message. A lot of people, they say, oh, well, it doesn't matter. It's just a few jobs. They won't say that if it's their job.
Exactly. It's always okay when it's somebody else's. It's never okay when it's you.
Citigroup, hundreds of jobs. Waymo, I never even heard of Waymo. Oh, that's who Waymo is. Waymo is Alphabet's self-driving car unit. Remember that car we saw in San Francisco? Mm-hmm. And was reportedly laying off a total of 209 employees and laid off 137 on March 1st. ThoughtWorks, 500 job cuts. Software tech firm. GM, 500 salary jobs. And it's not just the blue collar, it's the white collar workers too. General Motors plans to cut 500 executive level and salary positions. And this is that hard fall I was talking about with these higher income earners that have much further to fall, and the mental health crisis that is about to just lay waste to this entire country.
Well, you got to think the higher positions that get let go, how many possible places are there for them to go to get the same level of job after that? Because there's more low-level jobs than high-level jobs in any company.
What's going to be most important is that the high levels spent less than they made, and they had solid budgets and very little debt, with a safety net, savings, and investments to rely on as part of their diversity, security, and cash flow plan. If not, the answer is there isn't really anywhere.
Yeah.
I hate to say it, but the answer really would be to start your own. And you can be much more efficient, much leaner, require less in return, probably do less work overall, and get a much greater benefit from it. While also having the ability to turn that into an automated passive income stream simply and easily now with so much open AI and ChatGPT support, and then still perhaps maybe pick up another contract or gig or full-time employment. In a memo to employees seen by Insider, GM's chief people officer wrote, "We are looking at all the ways of addressing efficiency and performance. This week, we are taking action with a relatively small number of global executives and classified employees following our most recent performance calibration. And employees who are getting laid off were informed on February 28th. General Motors confirmed the layoffs to Insider, but did not confirm a specific number of employees getting cut." It's funny, actually, I came across a story with Ben Hardy, and he was talking about how the vehicles that they're producing are too expensive.
To produce?
No,
about to say,
they
imagine
were
how
too
much it would be to
expensive for
sell.
consumers.
Well, that happens with a lot of cars. I mean, I can't just go out tomorrow and throw some cash at a Rolls Royce or a Bugatti or anything like that.
You'd have to throw that kind of money at it, and then you end up with a Chevy Volt or something.
Yeah.
And what he said was, I didn't watch the whole video, but the title and thumbnail said, or maybe he was clickbaiting me, I don't know. But it said, instead of lowering the prices, they just reduce production. Does that make sense?
Instead of lowering the price, they just reduce production so that the ones that are out there, they can charge a lot for because there's not that many of them.
They're controlling the supply. And ultimately
And forcing the demand.
manipulating the demand.
Okay. That makes sense. That's like when Jordans come out, there's only a certain amount. People will clearly gladly pay $500 or $600 for a pair of sneakers
That was based on a cult following.
yeah.
This is now becoming based on necessity and need.
Which is really effed up.
And greed. As I said before, we're not going to see any industry like we saw before, but we're definitely not going to see the automotive car dealership like we saw before.
Well, that's like gas prices over the summer when people were scared that there was less gas and the gas stations were telling you could only get this. Some places were telling you can only have this many gallons. The prices shot through the roof. Same time, when there's less of it, they chose to charge more for it.
I mean, we experienced that a little bit yesterday for lunch.
Yeah. Yeah. So the downside to living in an area that is considered touristy is during the non-tourist seasons, you can go to any restaurant around here and get a lunch menu where you can pay a somewhat decent price in the area for really good food on the beach or close to it or whatever else. Yesterday, we went. There was no more lunch menu. It turns out this is considered the tourist season now, so even locals, residents, have to pay these extreme prices that they're charging the tourists, and it's like, ooh, I guess we're eating at home for the next 6 months.
Twitter, 200 employees, about 200 employees. Elon Musk is always flip-flopping, wishy-washy. Let's see here. Yahoo, 20% of its employees. Disney, 7,000 jobs. DocuSign, 10%. Affirm, 19%. GoDaddy, 8%. These are all layoffs. Mm-hmm. So Zoom. And the key here is if you work for these companies, knowing that this is coming. eBay, 500 jobs.
Well, what I hear is online places that have figured out how to do with less. That's the whole point of online, right? No more brick and mortar, go online. You don't need nearly as much to be online as you do in a store. And now these online companies are going, why the hell do we have 100 employees when technically we only need 7 to do this entire thing?
Well, you know, it's a mixture of if you work for these companies, realizing that your days are numbered, and if you work with these companies, think about it. Dell, 5%. We've got Pinterest, 150 jobs. Rivian, 6%. BDG Media, 8%. Splunk, 325 jobs. Intel, 343 jobs. Guess who works with almost all of these companies?
Am I about to say like a big name or something?
Yeah.
Like BlackRock, like Vanguard?
Not necessarily, but even those two, I would not be surprised to see them making cuts as well. But FedEx, more than 10% of top managers. Think about it. FedEx is cutting jobs. Mm-hmm. FedEx is directly tied to pretty much every business, even Amazon, as they facilitate some of Amazon's deliveries. Mm-hmm. But FedEx, Cintas, all these other companies that may not make the list will have their own list because they will no longer be in such demand as the suppliers reduce through these layoffs. PayPal, 7%. HubSpot, same. IBM, cuts. Hasbro, ain't nobody playing no games. Y'all fired. Dow, 2,000 global employees. That's Dow Chemical. SAP, 3,000 positions. Spotify, they're cutting jobs. 3M, 2,500 jobs.
Which is funny because
think about how much
they probably had to overhire during the pandemic.
Think how many products rely on 3M products.
Mm-hmm. Well, in theory, that means we should be okay. We shouldn't be looking at a new pandemic coming anytime soon. If 3M's like, oh, we don't need this many people anymore. We don't need to make this many masks, this many gloves, this many face shields.
Less jobs, less paychecks, more struggle. Google, 12,000 employees.
That's a lot.
Vox Media, Capital One, WeWork, Wayfair, more than 1,000 jobs lost. Microsoft, 10,000 workers. Crypto.com, 20% of staff. BlackRock has cuts globally. BlackRock is cutting roles in its first round of firing since 2019. Staff members were notified on January 11th about whether they were laid off or not. Larry Fink and President Rob Capito wrote in a memo to employees taking a targeted and disciplined approach to how we shape our teams. We will adapt our workforce to align even more closely with our strategic priorities and create opportunities for the immense talent inside the firm to develop and prosper. If you better be top talent, folks, all that quiet quitting about to get you. Goldman Sachs, 6.5% job cuts after they made bonus cuts. BNY Mellon, Verily, part of Google or Alphabet, DirecTV, Coinbase, Amazon, 18,000 employees that they cut. They actually lost over 100,000 that they didn't replace.
That's crazy.
Salesforce cutting its staff by 10%. Everlane, Vimeo, Compass, Stitch Fix.
Oh, I like Stitch Fix though. We used it for a while.
A lot of jobs getting axed, and it has, it's telling, especially based on this message that I received on Instagram about what's happening at Walmart. And a Walmart in, I'm gonna tell you exactly where this Walmart is because I don't want to misspeak.
I thought he said Massachusetts. Maybe I'm wrong.
Salem, New Hampshire.
I was way off. Okay.
So thank you, Ryan, for sharing this information about Walmart in Salem, New Hampshire. But as I'm looking at it, I'm scrolling through here and it says the CEO of Silicon Valley Bank Financial sold $3.6 million in stock 2 weeks before the California banking giant's epic crash yesterday, signaling bank officials might have known the bank was in trouble before it reported a nearly $2 billion loss that led to the biggest bank failure since the Great Recession in 2008.
Hey, can't he go to prison for that? Isn't that what happened? Right at the very beginning of the pandemic, they had some people. I remember there was somebody in Georgia that was part of it, that they bought a lot of stock in certain pharmaceutical companies and masks and like 3M and places like that because they had a heads up of what was coming.
There's going to be some legal repercussions that he will face. But the bigger question is who is next? Who else knows that they are failing? They are depleting the company of their resources. They're building their own safety net and plan before letting everyone else take the fall. Mm-hmm. I've been telling you guys this since February of 2022. Now, I got to address this one here. Somebody left a comment on one of my previous videos that said something like, none of your videos tell any truth. Mm-hmm. Now, I'm just going to say that you can call it what you want. Fear-mongering, propaganda, whatever.
That just means that they're idiots.
I'm going to keep calling it how I see it. It is okay to be afraid of what's happening in the world because it's some scary stuff. But your denial will equate to ultimately being paralyzed and likely a casualty of this war that has already begun. But it's okay. I took care of that comment, and others like it because I don't want to allow these sheep to even attempt to cause any of the subscribers and longtime viewers any undue and unnecessary harm by these fearful comments. Keep prepping, and I will keep sharing the facts, the truth. And if you don't like the content that I make, then by all means, you're free to watch other videos by other creators on the platform. Maybe you'd be better fitted for a reality TV show or something. That would be real, right?
Yeah, go watch reruns of Jersey Shore.
Nick Cannon actually said that one of the reality TV shows that they were working on didn't work because it was too real.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they needed to have scripted drama. That's why you can't keep up with the Kardashians because none of that shit's real.
Yeah, so if this real world, what's really happening, the truth, which you say isn't true, which I don't know how you can say it isn't true.
I mean, the bank collapsed. These people are laying people off.
I don't know how you can say this isn't true, but
Yeah.
you know, that may be more your speed. I think Kim K just posted a new viral selfie or something that's trending on TMZ, Daily Mail, or maybe Chive or something.
I had a video titled "They are doing something to the people in East Palestine, Ohio," and somebody commented, "This is the most fear-mongering clickbait title," and I was like, have you heard about what's happening in East Palestine, Ohio, and what they're doing to the people in East Palestine, Ohio? Like, I don't understand how anybody can say that that is fear-mongering or clickbait when that's literally what the video is about. What they are doing to the people of East Palestine, Ohio, with that Norfolk Southern train derailment and chemicals.
Somebody told me years ago, they said if you weren't so bad, you wouldn't be so scared.
I like that.
Everybody has their own perspective. The kid, she likes to watch scary movies. To her, they are not scary.
Yeah.
They're entertaining.
Yeah, because she knows they're not real.
To others, they can't handle it. They can't take it. So look, that's fine. Just don't try to stand on your soapbox and convince everybody else that they should be as naive and ignorant as you, preventing them from paying attention to the warning signs and preparing for what's happening because you're in denial or attacking creators for sharing this information and providing perspective and uncovering more of the truth, helping so many people. That's it for that. Thank you for everyone else who continues to support and understands what's actually really happening. And what's really happening, in my opinion, is a direct attack on your finances, on your money, on your income, your savings, your livelihood. If you want to continue on in this world, you have to have money.
Oh, yes, you have to. Because here's the thing. Even if you don't have money now and let's put it this way, if you're homeless or you're on the streets asking for help, people have cash to hand you to help you. In the future, you won't have that ability. Everything's going to be CBDC. So those who are currently relying on the help of strangers through handing them something, you're going to be up a creek.
So I'm going to cover this. I'll cover this in a different video because everybody wants to know, is their money safe in the bank? And with what happened yesterday with Silicon Valley Bank, I think this needs to be a dedicated video. So I'll cover that in a different video. Drop a comment if you guys want to know, is your money safe in the bank? And based on what happened yesterday, what are we doing with our money in the bank? Because you don't want to get wiped out, folks. But like I said, I received this message on Instagram, and Walmart is leading the charge. Business Insider revealed a list of all these job layoffs happening in 2023. More to come. Jerome Powell himself stood at the podium and delivered a message that basically says, I'm going to keep raising interest rates. We're going to keep pushing to drive inflation down. And I don't know, nor do I care how many millions of Americans it's going to hurt by becoming unemployed. He says the pain is far worse if we don't do this than if we do. His words, not mine.
How would he possibly know?
But at the end of the day, there's a driving force behind people being negatively impacted and affected by what's happening in the economy around the world, with their jobs, with higher prices across the board, possibilities for unemployment growing. We're on the brink of a recession. People on the verge of being evicted, foreclosed, becoming homeless. And this message received from Instagram, which my Instagram is in the description. So I do appreciate people utilizing the links and the options available to share this, because this is how we bring the truth to light. And it says that I'm a Walmart driver, and let's see here. Now it says I delivered to the store in I'm assuming Massachusetts this week. But let's see here. But then it says Salem, New Hampshire. So I'm not 100% sure. So Ryan, if you could clarify that, I would appreciate it. They aren't operational yet. They had these kiosks. And they will have to go to, assuming the shoppers and consumers, go to the screen and punch in your info, and your numbered door pops open and you grab your items. There will be no human contact. You guys are correct. It's coming sooner than later.
Well, that's just the Amazon boxes like they have at Whole Foods and
Home
stuff
Depot
like
too.
that, and Home Depot. So maybe they are. You said in our previous video that Walmart and Amazon teaming up would be like the biggest thing. So maybe Walmart is implementing some sort of Amazon drop style boxing or whatever you want to call it, or they've just taken from what Amazon does and made their own. Because now, like, let's say if you go to Publix, and in order to get your stuff, they have like your groceries in like a little refrigerated section, or they just have it sitting out on a shelf that anybody could technically walk up and rummage and take if nobody's paying attention. So maybe Walmart had the same kind of thing, and now they're thinking it'd be a lot easier if we didn't have to worry about the employees having to be there to make sure you got your stuff and didn't take somebody else's. So they're trying to make it safer.
Well, I'm looking at the map here. Salem, New Hampshire is right there on the border of Massachusetts. So maybe that's where the difference in location came from. I guess people probably, they used to know Massachusetts better than Salem. But this is kind of along the lines of what I was saying, that Walmart would ultimately make it so that people couldn't go inside the stores. And you asked the other day, well, what are they going to do with these old Walmarts? Will they become distribution hubs? Somebody actually commented that yes, more than likely they will. The parking lots will be full of the electric canoe vehicles that Walmart has partnered with for the deliveries. You'll have drones flying off left and right. And that could be it. Think about it. When you approach the front of a Walmart, the doors open and that little vestibule area that had shopping carts and RC Cola machines and that little pony that you could ride for 25 cents that nobody has any cash for anymore. That's where all the lockers will be. But basically, they're going to be backed up to the store where you used to walk in, so that the automatic pickers, the automation, the technology will be behind that wall of lockers. They'll fill the lockers from the behind. You walk up to the lockers. That's it.
Yeah.
The store will be like a giant vending machine.
Makes sense to me. You'd still have employees in the back.
Very few.
I mean, that
Very
doesn't
few.
take that many to do it, and you'd have robots picking all the stuff anyway.
But the biggest problem, which hopefully they address before it gets worse, is that right now, and I think the people are part of the problem too, is that there's a growing list of complaints of people who place their orders online and then get handed off to a third-party seller, only to have a delay in shipment, unable to get a refund or cancellation or anything like that, paying high, exorbitant shipping fees, but also those who are utilizing Walmart's app, Walmart.com, Walmart Spark, ordering food, groceries, and other items from Walmart. Guess what? A 40-item order shows up with 5 items. Maybe of those 5, they're actually what they ordered, or they have been automatically substituted. The other 35 just weren't delivered after waiting and paying the fees because either Walmart didn't have it or the human employee just didn't care. And they completely botched the order. And these are like in rural locations. So then it's like, how do you even execute on an exchange or a refund through Walmart Spark?
I've wondered that too, especially in areas where you can't find a person. How do you do any of it?
Yeah. Which, maybe they'll say, we'll refund it, just keep it, don't bring it back because it's cheaper. Bless you.
Thank you.
Cheaper to keep her. But I I hope that they have a solution for this problem before it gets bigger. But this is the direction that we're going. And if anybody else out there has any intel from these stores and other stores like them for the changes that they're making that are ultimately going to wipe out jobs, increase the amount of automation, change the business world and economy as we all know it, as we move towards this recession, depression, great reset, wipe out of the middle class, shut down of stores from people being able to walk inside them like they once were, by all means, please share. We'll continue to bring you guys updates, the truth, the facts. You guys take care. Be safe. See you real soon.
Bye.